Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Welcome along to a brand new season of TTL F1. This is season number 16, and the opening round of the season takes us to the Australian Grand Prix. Believe it or not, a little bit of trivia before we get this season underway. My 10th season in the commentary box for TTL F1. I'm part of the furniture now, aren't I? It's quite crazy. Anyway, my name is Kieran McGinney. Unfortunately, Andy is not participating in TTL F1 commentary, so we will miss him, but that does give us a chance to bring in, we've been together for a season in TTL F2. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely Mr. James here. James, how are you tonight?
I'm doing very well, Kieran. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm looking forward to the new season, and it should be a great night.
Absolutely should. And if you saw the videos out last week, of course we had the Classic Cup, which saw some fantastic 2010 and 2009 cars, and for some reason a 2003 Williams in the mix. But anyway, we had some great racing there in the floodlights at Abu Dhabi, and it also gave us a chance to have a look at the new drivers, new teams as well, and forming up there. So let's just run through them very quickly. I'll just select the team and driver. So in the Mercedes, we have Jack and Henny. So Jack will be looking to try and make it 2 in a row, and also 3 championships in total. The season, or the reigning champion, will be in the Mercedes alongside Jeffrey Henny. In the Ferrari, we should have Recon and Mays, and we do. So Recon has been pretty quick over the last season and looking to continue his great form. Mays there also partnering up in the Ferrari. They'll be expecting big things from Mays this season. In the Red Bull, we have Lyronix and Conti forming up as a pair. Lyronix, a terrifically quick driver. We saw flashes of brilliance from Conti last season. Let's see if he can continue that good form and also get that pace on his side as well. In the Renaults, we have Troy and Regular George, one of the first seasons where we don't see the German pairing of Troy and Lighty. They've been split up for this season, with Troy at the at Renault and Regular George also joining him. For the Haas F1 team, it is Lighty and Jorit, a German and a Belgian, driving for the American team. Then we have in the McLarens, well, we should have in the McLarens, Navy and Charlie H. So hopefully they will be here tonight. If not, we'll have to race without the Papaya McLarens for the first race of the season. For the Racing Points, we will have Warren and George in the Racing Points there. Warren, who has shown flashes of brilliance before in the past, he's looking to get that consistency down to a T. He's been saying that all last season, that he needs to get that consistency down. Let's hope that's the season he gets it all under control. In the Alfa Romeos, we have Sean and a debutant in TTL F1 in Westy. He'll be looking to get his season off to a good start. In the Toro Rossos, we have Spike and Graham. Graham actually remaining at Toro Rossos, one of the only drivers to be remaining at his team that he had in season 15. Spike moving to the Toro Rosso team for this season. And in the Williams, we should have, if I'm looking at this right, the Gort and Mashiro. And Mashiro is also a debutant in TTL F1, joining us for the race from Japan as well, Mashiro. So that's interesting. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the first Asian driver we've had ever in TTL F1. So it's great to have international recognition amongst TTL F1. And James, finally coming to you then, you're also a new signing to the TTL F1 series.
Of course.
And first race in Australia. I mean, it's a street circuit. It's not the greatest overtaking opportunities. It doesn't have those in the world, but it does provide some great racing.
Yeah, of course, Australia. I think it's the best track you could probably open up a season at in TTL F1. This is season 16, of course. 16 turns, 10 to the right, 6 to the left, 3 DRS zones, 1 down the start-finish straight, 1 down between turns 2 and 3, and also 1 down what you could call the back straight between turns 12 and 13. Very technical track, this. Watch out for quite a few back ends getting loose, especially through turn 12, and especially so through turn 5 as well. Watch out for those 2 turns, because seriously, it could really tell the difference between who wins and who loses here tonight.
And the Gort has got the alarm clock ready, and well, that was a bit odd. I saw the top left corner, lap 1 out of 3. I thought, hang on a second. No, we are into qualifying. That's a relief. So with the Gort just missing the deadline, he's set his alarm clock too late. He will be missing out on qualifying. That means he'll be the 16th starter in the race tonight. So that means we have 18 minutes of qualifying waiting for us. Looks a bit overcast out there on the track. Not quite the sunny Melbourne street circuit we've not come to know and love over the years, but yeah, I have to say, Australia, it's as you say, James, it's not a bad place to start, not at all. It's seen some dramatic moments over TTL F1 history, and hoping for more of the same. So the first person to break the new ground in the new teams in a new season will be the Scotsman Graham, making his way up towards turn 3. And Graham, one of the only drivers here, James, sticking with his team, or at least the team sticking with the driver, of course. The only other driver, I believe, that has stuck with the team to actually look through. There's not many that have saved the cut. I think Recon was also in the Ferrari last season, but correct me if I'm wrong. Those are the only two drivers I can see that have remained with the team they were with last season.
Yeah, very interesting that. I think S. Graham can do a good job in the Toro, so I think you were correct saying Recon was in a Ferrari. I do believe he might have been alongside Navy, correct me if I'm wrong on that, last season. It should be quite interesting to see how these get on. Watch out for Westy. Watch out for Westy in this qualifying session. I've been hearing some really good things about him. He's from One Hub. Really, really quick driver. Watch out how he gets on tonight, because he could be a real spoiler in the pack tonight.
He can be indeed, as we ride on board with Warren then in the racing point. Unfortunately, no Scott lap here tonight. I'm afraid it's just a regular old hot lap as Warren rounds the final corner on towards the start from the straight. And it's a short run down towards turn 1 with the sun in your eyes there. It's quite a quick right-hander here. Can be very, very easy to overcommit. Watch the grass on entry. Watch out for the curve. They're so easy to invalidate your lap going through turn 1. DRS wide open now as it's a short run all the way towards turn 3. Braking hard, slowing the car down. A little bit of a lock-up on the front right there. You want to try and keep lock-ups to a minimum now. Now you've got to rely on the car's aerodynamic grip. Watch out for that curve on the exit there of turn number 4. Through then turn 5 and then turn 6. Braking now for turns 6 and 7. As you try and guide the car through now that long right-hander of turn 8, heading towards the tight chicane of turns 9 and 10. Watch out for the sleeping policeman on the inside of 9. They can very easily unsettle the car. Watch it through turn 10. You come very close to the wall there on the outside. This part isn't really a corner, but you full throttle through here. Through turns 11 and 12. Drop down the gears, instantly back up. You drop 2 gears, back up 1. Try and keep the grip through the corner then, and very careful on the outside of turn 12. You can see a lot of cars spinning out, especially if they catch the rear left tyre on that curve. Through turn 13 on towards turn 14, where we saw Daniel Ricciardo spin out from qualifying all those years ago. Down in towards turn 15, very tight corner there, and then through turn 16. Well, actually we're not going through turn 16 because we're coming back to the pit lane. Of course we are, because it was a hot lap, but Warren there would have gone through turn 16. Turn 16, you have to be very patient through that final corner. Hopefully the car sticks there. Oh, Spike having a moment through the exit of turn number 12. That is, just got up to the curb, unsettled the car, managed to gather it all back up, and his teammate there, Graham, sets the first competitive lap time of the season, 1:23.2. Expect those times to come down to the, I believe, the 1:21s. I reckon we could get those as Conti there, 1:23.1 on a set of the medium tyres, as he sets the first lap time on the medium tyres, and then Sean sets the first lap time on the hard tyres there, as Graham has now retired from the session altogether. Now, let's see where that's
I think he might have lost it through turn 5.
Let's have a look then. We're riding on board with Conti through turn 4. And it's now towards turn 5. Do we see any yellow flags? We do.
There he is.
There you go. You're absolutely right, James. So that is a stricken Toro Rosso. That will have been rear wheels on the outside curb at turn 5 and just spun them up and straight to the scene of the accident. So that is his day over then as Yorit then 1:21.0. I said the 120. Oh, I said the 121s. Now into the 120s. 1:20.6 there from Westy. You weren't joking, James, when you said to watch out for Westy. A 1:20.6 from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Seriously quick lap, that 1:20.6, and we are going to be on for some really good lap times. I wouldn't even put it past us if we get a 1:19 here tonight. Watch out.
I think Jack has got some serious contenders on his hands. Of course, he's not here tonight, so he's missing out on this first race of the season.
Westy's got front wing damage. I think he must have lost it through sector 1. He's got no front wing at all on the Haas.
You're absolutely right. So a bit of a moment there for the German as he looks to try and limp his way back towards the pit lane. Over 12 minutes to go still of the session, and it is Westy on top of the standings. Yorick there in second place. Two debutantes, currently 1 and 2 in qualifying right now.
Uh-oh. Yeah, T-Roll just getting held up by Mashiro on... I think Mashiro was on a down lap. T-Roll was right behind him, and Mashiro is out of the session. T-Roll has got damage as well, I think, right side end plate. It was sorry to cut in there, but that will need looking at for sure.
I mean, if there's something more entertaining going on your screen, James, I have no quarrels whatsoever.
It's just... Yeah, oh, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Trawl's coming back to the pit lane. Looks like he does have front wing damage on the left-hand side, so I'll have to come back to get that repaired.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think, obviously, Mashiro needs to just move out the way of the driver behind him. He was on a lap, T-Roy. He was looking good on his lap as well before he decided to come into the pits, and obviously it was just contact that looked like on the rear, the front wing contacting the rear end of Mashiro's car, and it's one of those desync moments where the car gets sent into a spin. He's out the session. Simple as that.
Well, unfortunate there. Meanwhile, we're seeing Lyronix then on the hard tyres, looking to get some laps down on the board through the final couple of corners to start a lap. Nope, he comes back into the pits. I have a thing about this, don't I? I follow a car that goes directly into the pits. I haven't actually seen anyone finish a lap yet. Meanwhile, Warren now is making his way down towards 9 and 10. Again, he's very careful on the inside curve of turn number 9. Very easy to catch you out there as we now head through this long left-hander. Doesn't actually have a corner number through 11 and 12.
Oh, looking very good through there. Really good middle sector, 47.8. He's going to be right up there.
Yes, indeed, as we now make our way towards turn 13. Onwards onto the curves there, using them nicely there. Through turn 14, very easy to overcommit through this corner with the gravel chap waiting for you on the outside. Through turn 15, very easy to overrun the corner. And then patience through turn 16 there. Oh, he's lost the back end. That's what can happen there for Warren, and look at that, lovely little burnout, lovely little donut to get him on his way, but those rear tyres will now be toast, and that's what the patience there, the lack of it through turn 16 can do there. If you're not patient on that throttle, the car will simply not have it, and the rear aero just goes completely at a certain point. That's exactly what happened to Warren there. Still P9 though with that lap time, although uncompetitive.
Yeah, Warren just actually got caught on the grass. His rear left tyre got caught on the grass coming out of 15 into 16, and that's why you saw the spin. That's exactly what happened there, and as you've already explained. Recon, by the way, on a lap, just coming around the final corner.
He absolutely is. So Recon on the medium
tyres. On a good lap.
Towards that start-finish line. Let's see what he can do. It was invalidated, I think.
Yeah, invalidated 20.3, so he would have gone top.
So there you go. So Recon in the Ferrari has been showing shades that he is a quick driver. He's did fantastically well in qualifying last season. It was just converting those good qualifying positions to race results, and hopefully the Dutchman will be able to get those in order for this season. Only a couple of drivers, only a handful of drivers haven't set a lap time yet. We're still waiting for lap times from Recon, Regular George, Mays, Lyronix, Lighty and Traw, although if I know Mays' strategy, which I think I do, it's either going to be one lap in qualifying or no laps in qualifying.
I think it'll be probably one or two laps in qualifying, I think, from towards the end of the session. Spike, by the way, improved up to 6th, 23.5. Oh, and just, in fact, he's just lost it, coming through out of turn 8, I think that was. Sean with a 23.5 as well. Both on a set of hard compounded tyres, 6th and 7th. Currently, very nice laps from them both.
Yeah, Spike, of course, on the race wheel. It's only his 3rd race on his brand new wheels, so he'll be looking for some good results, some consistent results, I think, this season. We know how quick Spike is as a driver. Of course, he's a former champion of TTL F1, so we know his pace, we know he's quick. It's just that transition from a pad to a wheel, which I know from experience takes a while, but eventually, Spike, you get there. Hopefully it doesn't take 2 years like it did for me, but hopefully you'll get there.
Yeah, Conti's just come to the end of his lap there, 21.4, really nice lap there. Just needs to be a bit more on the power coming out of turn 16. He can gain a few tenths on that time, but very nice lap time. He's only 8 tenths off Westy at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and Westy there with that 20.6 is the fastest lap of the session so far. We've got Regular Georges coming back into the pit lane after an attempted lap. We've got Lyronix also out there on a flying lap. Lighty's making his way through 9 and 10. We've also got Traw after that front wing change back out there, pretty much sharing the same bit of track. Even when they're on different teams, the two Germans there can't help but share the same amount of track. Lyronix then making his way through 13 and then on towards turn 14, flying through there with that high aero towards turn 15. Lyronix here on a set of the medium tyres, carrying his way through towards turn 16. A lovely bit of pace through there. Really good corner there from Lyronix as he makes his way towards the start finish line. It's a 21.4 from Lyronix there. Good lap time and so much confidence through turn 16. That could be the difference between pole position and pretty much the fourth row of the grid.
Yeah, fantastic lap from Lyronix. Only 500s ahead of Conti though, so Conti will probably bite back at him. If obviously Lyronix goes on a set of softs, both of them I think are going to be really close together, and you could be seeing already an early contender for the Constructors' title right here.
You're calling it already. We've still got 11 races this season, so hopefully it's not that straightforward. Hopefully we can have a fight on our hands. But yes, of course, the 11 race season will be upon us.
And good lap.
We'll go through the calendar very shortly as Westy goes even quicker, 120.4, and the gap between himself and Yara. Oh, Yara's off at turn 13. In the gravel he goes. That is how tempting it is to overcommit to one of these corners, and it's safe to say that I think the back end just said you're having a laugh for Yorit there, and he has to really abandon that lap through the final sector, and no surprise he comes back to the pit lane, no doubt for a fresh set of boots. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Henney there in the Mercedes, making his way now down towards turns 9 and 10. Henney now on a set of the soft tyres. Mercedes obviously very, very confident in his abilities, and I wonder how Henney is going to repay that faith in Mercedes then as we fly through 11 and 12 there, keeping it all together under wraps then. So a 23.3 from Henney so far, as we see Lyronix, or no, the YT that was 121.1 from the German. So currently Haas locking out second and third place on the grid right now with over 5 minutes to go. Henney making his way, negotiating through 15 onwards towards 16 there, and you can see there a little bit of a lack of confidence towards the middle part of that corner there, but Henney with a 21.6 there from the Mercedes driver, from the new Mercedes driver, puts himself in 6th place. I think there's still more time to find there for Henney, but the track's only getting better.
Yeah, he found a second in that final sector alone. Oh! Didn't I say we'd get a 119?
You did indeed, and we've got it there, Warren. 119.8, great lap from the Racing Point there, and that has shattered some egos there coming into this race. That is no doubt, that's almost Schumacher-esque, where you think nothing can be done, no more time can be found. Westy found 2 more tenths. Warren's just found 6 tenths out of nowhere.
Fantastic lap by Dill Warren. Absolutely brilliant. But Recon coming around the final corner could also go into the 119 with this. He's about to come across the line. I think he's going to go just behind him, is he? Yeah, 20.1. Nice lap by Recon though. Goes second.
He does indeed. So Recon then also knocking on the door of the 119s, and it's fair to say Westy is as well. 120.4 from him. Yellow flags in sector 3 at the moment, but meanwhile what's going on?
Spike off at turn 12. Spike off at turn 12.
So Spike there, that's probably getting a rear tyre onto that curb. Then it's so tempting to do when you try and carry as much speed through as possible through 11 and 12 there, that you just overcommit in that corner, and unfortunately he's had to bite the bullet there and pay the price. So I think he'll be coming back towards the pit lane. We've got regular George then making his way now through turn 8 onwards towards turns 9 and 10. Very tricky chicane this one, slow on entry. You have to accelerate all the way through. You have to rely on that back end staying in check then as we make our way through this corner with no number. It's a long left-hander before you make it to the braking zone of 11 and 12. Nice and kept it together there. Oh no, not for George though, as he crashes into the wall there. Lucky to keep all 4 wheels on the wagon there. That is what happens when you get, that's a prime example of that curb catching a driver out there.
Yeah, he wants to get in acceleration there to try and do a bit of a J-turn here. But, yeah, he was looking good on that lap. He just got too much curve, as you say, and I was watching actually Mays just in front. He just came across the line there, 22.5. I was watching him. He took it absolutely perfectly. Regular George just took a bit too much curb, and unfortunately, and he spun again actually coming through turn 13. So those back end tyres are shot.
Yeah, the problem with these cars is that once the tyres heat up like that, it's very, very difficult to get them back under temperature, especially if you spin them up like that. So for George there. He'll just be looking to get that car back to the pit lane, maybe try on a couple more tyres as the back end wants to step out on him again. That's how difficult it is to get these tyres back under check. And he's really struggling now on those overheated tyres. The best bet is just to get back to the pit lane, put a fresh set of boots on. There's just about enough time to do that before the last gasp here. Just over 2 minutes to go then. Warren still on pole position so far, 119.8, only lap time in the 119s right now. Recon in second with a 120.1, Westy third, 120.4.
Spike's just lost it through turn 1. Luckily, he just ended his lap, 22.4. Go on, you were saying there?
Oh, I was just rounding up the top 3 there. But yeah, Spike having a moment through that first corner there as he rejoins onto the track. Yeah, just 1 minute and 50 seconds to go with Warren leading the way. It is Recon second, Westy third. Troy with a lap there. He goes up to fourth place, a 120.8. Yorit there in fifth place, 121.0. Lighty in sixth. He's coming towards the line now to start a brand new flying lap. As he makes his way now, he's currently in 6th place, 121.1. Lyronics there in 7th place, now on a lap time. He's looking to, he's not on a lap time just yet, he's on an out lap. However, he's looking to get to a lap time on the soft tyres rather than the mediums. He's already set it on. Conti there on an out lap, currently 8th place with a 121.4. Henny, 121.6 there. I think there's still more time to find for Henny in 9th place there. Spike still on the medium tyres, looking to bank on starting on the medium tyres now. I mean, there's no time left to come in and put on a new set of soft tyres. Who's got to commit to this? May's still in the garage then, so he's not coming back out for another lap. He'll start no higher than 11th place. Sean, meanwhile, on the medium tyres, a 123.5 so far on the hard tyres. Let's see what a lap time he can do on the mediums. Regular George as well in the pits. He hasn't set a lap time in this session. He will then start in P15. Of course, Mashiro and Graham both retired from the session. They both crashed out of the session. Meanwhile, Mays and Troy have retired on their own accord because there's not really enough time left in this session. 30 seconds to go and lots of cars out on track. Recon making his way through turns 1 and 2. We've got Warren there making his way through 6 and 7. Westy, let's see where he is. Well, he's making his way through turn 4 onwards towards turn 5. Yorit has just come over the start finish line in towards turns 1 and 2 we go. Lighty looking for a bit of a distant tow, I think, from his teammate. Lyronics making his way through turn 1. Lots of drivers leaving this as late as possible, and why not? That's the thing to do. You want to leave it as late as you possibly can. Spike back into the pit lane. We will not be expecting to see him on a lap anymore. So I believe Henny is going to be the first one to take the checkered flag out on track as he makes his way through turn number 14 there, onwards towards 15, and then towards that final corner of turn 16. What can Henny do then through the final corner, trying to commit as hard as he can with the DRS towards the start finish line, towards the checkered flag. It's 600 slower from the Mercedes driver there, and Warren goes even quicker, a 119.7 there from Warren then as he tries to lock out the first pole position of the season. Then Westy abandons his lap. No improvement from him though. The Dutchman in Recon stays out. Look how close he came to the wall on the outside there. The Dutchman wanting to improve on his 120.1, can't do it. 100th of a second slower there. Yorit is 100th of a second quicker, but he made a mess of that final corner and he's abandoned his lap. Lighty once again front wingless as he limps his way back towards the pit. Lyronics then around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. He set a fastest lap on the mediums. Let's see what he can do on the soft tyres. Here is a 120.3 and puts himself onto the second row of the grid there in third place. We've got Lighty who's come back to the pit lane. I believe now that is all the cars finishing qualifying now, either back in the pits or taking the checker flag. And the first pole position of the season goes to Dylan Warren in the Racing Point.
How on earth he did that lap is absolutely beyond me. A 119.7, and you see Recon 4 tenths behind him. That was a special lap right there, and we could be seeing him, if he transfers it from the qualifying into the race, that he could be the first winner of TTL F1 this season. But
absolutely could
pretty much the drivers that I thought would be up there in qualifying are. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, well, your first prediction of the season has gone pretty well, James. But there's our first pole position of the season, and it goes to Dylan Warren. So then we will have a rundown of the qualifying results. Remember, there'll be 16 starters of this race because the Gort didn't take part in qualifying. He will be allowed to start the race. Warren then claims the first pole position of the season by exactly 0.4 of a second ahead of the Dutchman in Recon. Lyronix on the second row of the grid with Westy in 4th. It's Straw in 5th and Yorit 6th. Lighty in 7th and Conti in 8th. Henny in 9th and Spike rounds out the top 10. It's Mays in 11th, Graham 12th, Sean in 13th, Mashiro on his debut in 14th, and Regular George didn't set a lap time in that qualifying session. Of course, as well, the Gort will start in P16, having not taken part in qualifying. One thing to note, a couple of things to note actually, Spike is the only person in the top 10 that'll be starting on a different tyre than the soft tyre. And for Lighty, it could be a race that he needs to get a hold of. He really needs to grab hold of this one. Twice in that qualifying session, he lost his in front wing entirely. He's starting in about, I think it's 7th place he's starting, so he's just got to keep his head there. And, well, with the sun beaming down on the track, that's probably going to be in a higher track temperature. That might have a cause and effect on the tyre there, James.
Yeah, will do. I was thinking coming into this race, if anybody did start on the top 10 on a set of medium compound tyres, they would manage to get a one-stop. With the sunshine, and I'm even more confident now that a one-stop for Spike, who's in 10th position, will probably happen. The rest will have to come into the pits early. These tyres around this track will wear off, what, 3-4% maybe per lap? So these drivers have got to be very, very wary of their tyre life. I would expect the first pit stops, honestly, to be around lap 8, lap 9 if they want to do a one-stop. But if they want to push it further, especially Spike on the set of mediums, he's got to go to probably around halfway into the race and then possibly go on to a set of hards or another set of medium compound tyres. But the Formation Lap about to begin.
And here we go then. So Dylan Warren will lead the way down towards turn 1. Warming up the tyres as much as he possibly can. 16 drivers then starting this one. The Gort then, just to wrap up something, he is starting in the Mercedes, but he should be, I believe, driving for the Williams team. So he will score any points for Williams rather than for Mercedes. Just to clear that one up there, because who should be in that car? It should be Jack there. But because the Gort's already contracted to Williams for the season, he should be there, so he'll be scoring any points for Williams then. So we've got Dylan Warren then, who will be leading them down towards turn 1. 29 laps here in Australia. Let's get some predictions in the chat then. Who do you think is going to win the first Grand Prix of the season? We've already seen Dylan Warren claim the first pole position of the season. And just a quick one from you, James. Who are some drivers we need to keep our eye on this season?
The drivers to keep an eye on this season, probably the top 5 out of this race, I would imagine. Yorit did a very great lap right at the beginning of the session. Didn't really produce much since in qualifying, but watch out for him maybe. And Conti from 8th position, I've got a very funny feeling he could end up on a podium position. But for my top 3 here tonight, Dylan Warren for the win. I'm going to go Lyronix for 2nd, and I'm going to go for Westy for 3rd. There you go, you've heard it here first.
You've heard it here first, so let's see what happens out on track. Will it be a James prediction masterclass or a James prediction disaster class?
It'll be a disaster. It'll be a disaster.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, as Dylan Warren is in no hurry to get things underway here. He's just trying to bunch up the pack so that the tyres stay as warm as possible for as long as possible whilst he's sat there on the grid. Round the final corner we will go. The AI now takes over as there's nice smooth controls there on towards the start finish line, and of course it's agonising wait here because the start finish line is so far down the start finish straight here, and you're limited to 70 miles an hour. You have to watch the car take the grid position itself. But here we go then, Warren then taking up his grid position at the front of the pack. Then 16 drivers will start this race. Spike obviously in 10th place on the medium tyres, Mays, Graham on the softs, as is Regular George, Sean and Mashiro on the medium tyres, and the Gort in 16th starting on the hard tyres. But here we are then, we are moments away from the season opener as we extinguish the 5 red lights here in Australia. Round 1 is underway, and what are the starts like? It's a really good start from Recon. It's also a really good start from Lyronix as we make our way now down towards turn 1. Recon has the inside line in towards turn 1. Warren has the inside line for turn 2, and he makes it through. He holds on to the lead. Then how about the rest of the pack? Will they make it through there as we see lots of action happening behind? Warren then trying to defend the inside line as Recon tries to go around the outside at turn 3. He's got the inside for turn 4. Warren will try and hang it around the outside. He'll have the inside now at turn 5, which he takes, but the Ferrari is hot on his heels then as we make our way now up towards turn number 6 through 7 now, and the Ferrari is having absolutely none of it. He wants that position and he wants it now. Meanwhile, further down the field, Sean has got past Mays then, up to P10 he goes. Yorick there in 6th place. Conti is up in position to 7th place. Lighty didn't get the greatest start in the world.
Yorick's round. Yorick had a bit of contact. I think Lighty was trying to go up the inside of him there, and Yorick has spun round and he's at the back of the field.
Yorick with a spin, so he's now got to try and make up all those positions all over again, but it's not over yet. We've still got a long race ahead of us as we see Recon there in 2nd place trying to chase down the leader of the pack. Lyronics then in 3rd, Westy 4th with Traw in 5th. Conti then still in 6th place. We've got yellow flags in sector 3, just trying to pick up who that could be, and it is Yorick. So Yorick is around once again. Regular George though, 12th place from the Renault driver. Not a bad start at all considering he didn't set a lap time in qualifying whatsoever. He's up 3 positions from his start, and Warren of course sets the fastest lap of the race as you would as the race leader on lap number 1. And Regular George here has a run on Spike here down towards turn 1. Will he go for the move? He's looking for it, looks for it, thinks about it, thinks again, as Spike defends well there. But at the end of the first lap, it is Warren who leads. Recon 2nd, Lyronics 3rd, Westy 4th, Traw 5th, Conti 6th with Lighty 7th, Penny 8th, Shaw 9th, Mays 10th, Spike 11th, Regular George 12th, Mashiro 13th, Graham 14th, DeCourt 15th, and Yorick in P16. Yeah,
Yorick in P16. There's the yellow flag in sector 2. Oh, it's still Warren! It's still Warren from the lead of the race! I can't believe it! Oh, he's lagging! I'm not sure if that picked up on your screen.
No, he's still leading the race. You're just creating false drama, James. That's all you're doing.
It definitely lagged on my end.
Well, he's still leading the race by 0.4 of a second, and now Yorick has retired from the session altogether. That's not how he wanted his first race of the season to go down here. However, Regular George still on the back of Spike here as he makes his way now through 11 and 12. Always the toughest part of the track when you're on heavy fuel here. Very easy to get it wrong. Oh, as it so almost did go wrong there for Graham. Lost the back end there, and the Gort takes full advantage by taking the position away. Through the final corner goes the leader of Warren here. Yet to win a race here in TTL F1. His best finish in a TTL F1 race has been 2nd place. He'll want to rectify that here tonight.
Yeah, Conti getting past Lighty around the final corner. There is a lot of lag happening on my end. I'm not sure if that is coming through on my mic.
No, you sound perfect and crystal clear to me.
Oh, everyone's lagging on my screen a little bit. Anyways, let's carry on. Still Warren leading, obviously, Recon 2nd. Yeah, Lighty and Conti, I think, got through round turn 16. Lighty definitely struggling with his tyre management, I think. And Conti now just beginning to pick his way through the field. And Regular George just in the background going around the outside of Spike. He's got it! George around the outside of Spike. That was through turns 4 and 5. Fair play. Brilliant move. Around the outside, he's up for 11.
Yeah, great move from the Renault driver. That's exactly what he needed. Meanwhile, this is Lighty and Conti down towards turns 9 and 10. Lighty holds on then from the offence from Conti. But look what that's doing. It's allowing Henny to close in and maybe even try for a move as we head towards 11 and 12. Well, 11 and 12 here, it's a very interesting part of the track. This is the part of the track where you do not want to go side by side. Oh, Conti picking up a little bit of grass here. This is Henny's chance with the DRS, with some slipstream, with Conti's bad run out of the chicane there. Nowhere for Henny to put the car, nowhere to go down the inside, anything like that. So he has to stay in 8th place right now. But pretty uneventful opening couple of laps. We've seen a couple of overtakes. We've seen Jorrit around at turn number 9 in the opening laps. But other than that, it's been pretty downbeat right now, that's for sure, as Recon actually has taken the lead. Just as I say that, Recon's taken the lead down towards turn 1 and now leads here in Australia, with Warren now down to 2nd place. That's really not what he wanted. We know how quick Recon is. He needs to iron out those mistakes.
Oh,
Conti's around at turn 1 now. Now, he was chasing down a bit Lighty. He was chasing down Lighty. He did have Henny behind him. It's possible that something happened there, but it's so easy to lose it at turn 2 there. It looked a bit early to me to lose it on that curve around the outside.
I have a feeling he's got caught on the curve on the outside. That's what I was just about to say. I have a feeling that's probably happened. Unless he's gone a bit too deep into turn 1, caught the grass on the inside, and then he's caught the inside. By the way, Westy right on the back of Lyronics, and this battle for second beginning to really hot up. Westy is all over the back of Lyronics, and Dill Warren is struggling with his struggling with his tyres. He's just picked up a 3-second time penalty there as well. But Recon now beginning to pull away.
Yeah, Recon now 1.3 seconds up the road, so Warren is definitely struggling with his tyres then as we head on to the 4th lap of the race, almost the 5th lap of the race even, as we make our way riding on board now with Westy through 15 and then towards turn 16. The Gort then up to 12th place he goes, up the inside of Mashiro in towards turn 13 and gets the move done in what should be the Williams. So these two are actually teammates here as Mashiro backs out of the move, or only potential move, in towards 15. Such a tough track to overtake on. You really have to capitalise if the driver in front of you makes a mistake. And here's Westy closing in on Lyronix then down towards turn 3. No way through. Lyronix defends brilliantly there into turn 3, onwards towards 4 and then towards turn number 5. And then it is Lyronix trying to defend from Westy. He's doing a good job right now. There's just Traw in the background there. We know how Traw loves to try and get those positions when no one expects it. Conti then 5 seconds penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will be served not at this pit stop, but at his next pit stop there as Lyronix gets onto the grass. Lyronix gives, Westy gives Lyronix a bit of a tap there. Unintentional, of course. It's just close quarters racing. Didn't react quick enough there in towards 11 and 12. I don't think there's any damage to the front of that Alfa Romeo there. It doesn't look like it, because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to go through 11 and 12 flat out there. But Lyronix, crucially, doesn't have DRS. Westy thought about a move up the inside there, didn't commit to it, and Lyronix holds firm then in 3rd place. But all that's doing is allowing the German Renault of Traw to close in.
If Westy wants to get a podium here, he's got to get past Lyronix here and now. It's right on the back of him. It's the best position I think I've seen him in so far. But you can, as you've said, T-Roll right on the back of him. He's 7 tenths away now. He's just dropping off slightly. Might be because he's running a lower ERS mixture. And Conti has just went out the race at turn 5, I do believe. We'll come on to this now, I think.
Conti then out of the race, second retirement of the race here, and it is the Red Bull driver who will not finish this race. What I will say though is that Westy has to be careful here as he looks at the back of Lyronix, and Dylan Warren has left the session now. His internet has besieged him once again, and now he'll lose all that time. This should be an easy move for Lyronix, but it's not always as easy as it looks, as I correct myself there, because although you know that the person in front is a ghost car, it can still put you off your braking points. I'm sure you know that from experience, Jones.
Oh, I definitely do. I normally go out the rest whenever there's a ghost car in front of me and I'm trying to get past. But they're managing to look pretty easy. They've got through it okay, and Lighty now 5 seconds behind. If Dill Warren has got another invite, he can join back. I'm pretty sure of that, because remember, if he's in the points and he's an AI car, he won't get the points. Simple as that.
Absolutely. If you don't finish the car race as a human, you do not pick up any points. Here's Sean then looking for a move down the inside of Henny in towards turn 12 there, or turn 13, and he's got the move done then through 14, and Sean then moving up the position. Meanwhile, Regular George is putting a heap of pressure on Maysden in towards turn 15 as Westy into the pits then. So the first of the leaders to come into the pits then is the Alfa Romeo of Westy, looking like he should be putting on a set of medium tyres, which he hard, sorry. Yeah, so hard, so to the end then for the Alfa Romeo. So that's going to promote Lyronix up to second place. He was already there, but Traw then is now in third. Now Warren has joined back into the session, but not back in his car just yet, as Regular George gets the move done on Mays there and moves up a position. Good move from the Renault driver. He's having a great couple of laps. Oh, just keep it in check there, Regular George, and you're doing great. But yeah, up to 8th place now for the Renault driver. He's got Henny ahead of him, and in the form he's in right now in this race, remember, he started in 15th place. I mean, he's doing a great job out there.
He's doing a fantastic job, and honestly, he's beginning to pick his way through the field. One by one, they are beginning to crack in front of him. Obviously, there's pit stops going to be had as well. He's on a slightly fresher set of the softs, remember, as well, so that's probably why he is making all of that progress. Lighty, by the way, has just gone past Still Warren, who has now regained control of his car. So he's just lost that position at the wrong moment there.
Yeah, I mean, it was Lighty went across the track there, picked up 3 seconds worth of penalties and got the move done, so that might come back to haunt him at the end of this race. However, Warren didn't look comfortable in defending that position, and that's why, because he's coming into the pit lane, so no wonder why he didn't battle it as hard as maybe he might have, or perhaps has done in the past. Well, lap 8 of this race then, Recon leads from Lyronix in second, Traw in third place, Lighty in fourth, Sean fifth, Henny sixth, Regular George 7th, Mason 8th, Spike 9th, and Gort rounds out the top 10. Of course, we've still got drivers to come into the pits. The majority of the film. Oh, that's Graham around in the back, or is it Spike? It's Spike in the background then. Again, losing it at turn 2, and it's an age to get that car turned around, waiting for everyone to go through. Now it looks like a bit of a clear track. Now he can spin up the rear tyres and get himself underway again. Ooh, that was close. That was close. Luckily, he was a ghost car, so that didn't really affect Warren there, although he would have had a little bit of a jump there, especially in his seat. But Spike was in the middle of the track there. Westy, meanwhile, has pitted early. He's rejoined behind Graham. He's got traffic to deal with. Let's see how this move goes. He's right behind Graham then, coming towards turn 9. Does Graham fight it? Up towards turn 9 we go, in through turn 10, yes. Graham puts up a little bit of a fight there, gets onto the grass though, compromises his exit, and Westy says, thank you very much, I'll be taking that position. He's now up to 11th place.
Yeah, left on right contact there. S. Graham's right hand side of his car contacting with Westy there, but nothing too much, and S. Graham's lost it and he's out. Oh no, he's not. Oh, I thought he was gonna lose. I thought he was gonna lose a wheel there, judging by how he spun. But S. Graham is still going. He's lost his front wing though.
The Toro Rossos are not having a great time, are they? They are really struggling out there. Both of them now. And Lyronix, as you say, is into the pits. He now goes on to a set of the hard tyres. So where is Westy in all this? He's coming around the final corner. Now remember, the pit lane here is so slow. Limits you to around 50 kilometres per hour. Now the Gort's out of the race then. Somewhere out on track. It's going to be close between the two of them into turn 1. And Westy tries to hold on around the inside and keeps the position. What a great battle between the two of them. Westy just about holds on. Lyronix looking around the outside at turn 3. Little bit of contact between them. He's trying to move up the inside at turn 4. No way through. Westy holds on. That was skin of the teeth moment for Westy, but he came out on top.
How on earth he came out on top there is unbelievable. Lyronix, by the way, he just positioned his car on the wrong moment. It always looked like that right-hand side, the front wheel, the front right wheel was going to contact Westy's left wheel, and that's exactly what happened. Just positioned his car in the wrong place, but he's still on the back of him, and they're coming up to traffic as well. This could be very interesting indeed, and this could impact on maybe Recon and T-Roll getting podiums. You never know. And Recon, speaking of which, is into the pits.
Recon into the pits then. So these two have Mashiro to deal with. He is on the lead lap, of course. He's got no inclination of giving these positions up. As you can see there, he's still trying to race his own there as Westy now up the inside at turn 14. The Williams tries to hold it around the outside. They try and make it 3 wide towards 15 there. Lyronix runs into the back of Westy. Westy's still running side by side with the Japanese driver through the final corner, and I think they're both going to make it through there. Mashiro understeered through the final corner there. The only one out of them who has DRS is Lyronix. That's a bit of a bizarre moment then, but Mashiro's lost 2 positions there. Westy up to 7th, Lyronix up to 8th.
Yeah, put up a great defence though, actually, the Japanese driver, Mashiro. He can still stay on the back of these guys. These two are going to fight ahead. Mashiro, though, looking good. And regular George! Oh, my God!
Well, he made a move there. Oh, he's clipped the outside of Henny in towards the next corner, and he spun himself around. What I was going to say, that Henny actually made a mistake earlier on in the lap. Regular George took advantage, but he had a compromised line through turn 5. He got onto the curb, lost the back end, hit the wall on the right hand side, clipped off a bit of front wing there. Then as you saw, he tried to hold on to that position as much as possible there, but in the end it was just a bit of a desperate move, and unfortunately it's cost him all that time and position. I'm just having a look at Henny's front wing, and there is damage to the left hand side end plate for Henny. Luckily his pit window's not far away, so he won't lose too much time, but at the end of the day he will be absolutely gutted about that one, as will Regular George. He was having such a good race.
He was having such a good race, and I think George, if I was in his position right now, I'd be coming into the pit, stick on a set of hard compounder tyres and get yourself to the end, because I have a feeling you can still pick up points out of this race as well. So I think there's still a lot more action probably still to come in this. Absolutely,
there's still a lot more action to come between Westy and Lyronix. As Straw then gets ahead of Mashiro. That was important for the German then, as actually the Williams has got past in through turn 2 there, and so the Japanese driver is absolutely showing his hand here. He wants to battle, he wants to defend, and he wants to get positions. He doesn't care if he's out of sync. He wants to have a good race. As we head now through turn 5, and then on towards turn 6 and 7. Meanwhile, up ahead, we've got the battle between Westy and Lyronics. Meanwhile, Sean leads this race. He's still on those medium tyres that he started on. Troll then looking for a move around the outside as we head towards turn 9. The German in the Renault tries it. Oh, Mashiro makes contact with the inside there of Troll. Not quite sure what happened. Didn't have the greatest camera angle in the world there, but Mashiro is around there at turn number 9 and has to try and 3-point turn it around. Meanwhile, Lyronics is still trying to put up a fight here with Westy as we make our way through turn 13 on towards 14 now. And these two battling is just allowing Recon to do what he needs to do. Leading the way, 2.6 behind Sean, who's yet to stop. That's what he wants right now. Meanwhile, Lighty and Spike then through turn 13. Lighty up the inside, gets the move done. He's now up to 7th place against Spike there, who's on used and worn medium tyres. We are expecting to see him in soon, but Warren there on the hard tyres, 124.6 from the racing point, sets the fastest lap of the race. Lyronics then still on the back of Westy, heading in towards turn 3.
I can't believe Warren's only a second off T-roll. After that disconnect, I thought he would have been well back, but he is absolutely flying out on track. And if I can just, I'm going to just quickly go on race director and compare the last laps between them both. A 131.8 for T-Roll, who just came out the pit, to 24.6 for Dill Warren. Be interesting to see how they lap this time around. But Lyronics, as you say, right on the back of Wesley, it's just the case of when he can get the move done, not a case of if he can get the move done. He's just lost a little bit of time there on Westy, but a really good battle between these two, and this is for a next second place with Sean still to come in.
Yeah, what's interesting to note is True and Lighty both on medium tyres. They're going to try and make those tyres last to the end of the race. Let's see how that goes towards the end of this race. Lyronics then still on the back of Westy, making our way through the final sector. Meanwhile, Recon here is on the back of Sean. This looks like it's going to be a straightforward move down the start finish straight. Remember, if Recon doesn't get the move done towards turn 1, he can easily get it done through turn 3. He's having none of it though. Gets the DRS up the inside of Sean, gets the move done, and back into the lead of the race he goes. Meanwhile, Lyronics here still on the back of Westy, heading in towards turn 1. Remember, you still get that double dose of DRS down towards turn 3. There's only 2 detection points across the entire circuit to cover 3 DRS zones, so if you don't get the move done through turn 1, have another look down towards turn 3. It's while it's there, try and give you another opportunity at an overtake. Warren here has really closed up to the back of Troll here, and that's surprising because obviously these medium tyres, you would expect them to be performing better than the hards, but obviously Warren's in tune with his car right now. He's quicker than Troll.
Yeah, just comparing lap times there, 5/10 quicker Warren than T-Roll last time around on lap 12. Now on lap 13, and T-Roll also picked up a penalty on that lap as well. But Warren is right on the back of him. He wants to prove a point here. He had a very bad first half of this race. He had that disconnect, of course, but he's now beginning to get back into the fight. And do you know what? If you can get past him, could be on the back of Westy and Lyronics. If those two continue to battle at a good pace, these two could catch.
They
and
really could.
Expecting Warren to be on the back near the end.
Well, we've also got Westy and Lyronics battling ahead as well as Troll and Warren battling away. So really close between both sets of battles as we head through the final corner. We're going to run on board with Lyronics here as we make our way on towards the start finish straight and on towards turn 1. You can see there, Westy instantly going defensive. You can make one move and then back to the racing line. That's legal in the rule book. That is as by the book there from Westy. One move to defend, then one move back to the racing line. Meanwhile, Warren here still on the back of Troll. I'm not sure which battle to look at here as Westy trying to defend then in towards turn 3. Warren down the inside. Oh, into turn 3.
Can he get across? He can't.
Knocks it up. No, he outbrakes himself there into the 3rd turn, and Troll sails back through, and that's not only cost Warren time, but it'll also cost him that little bit of tyre wear as well, that little bit of tyre performance that he might need towards the end of this race. Well, that's gone now. Lyronics clipping the grass there. No need for the Carvers this race, I think.
He clipped the wall as well. He just had one slight rub of the wall actually there as well. He's just lost a bit more time through that corner. Warren right on the back of T-Roll. It's literally, you don't know where to cross between these two. I think, for now, battle for 5th and 6th. I think.
You think? You're not even sure.
It's closer. It's closer.
I'll give you that. It is closer
he's
right
gonna
now.
Get this.
Well, Warren has got to try and get this move done now. Traw goes defensive. He'll take the inside line at turn 13. Always difficult to go around the outside here at turn 14. That's why the door will close. But Warren's sticking it through turn 14 now. And Traw holds on there against Warren. It was always going to be a difficult move. The advantage was always going to be with the Renault of Traw there as we head now through turn 16. Even so, he made that advantage work. Now on towards the start finish straight down towards turn 1. Let's ride on board with Lyronix here as he makes his way now through turn 2, onwards now towards turn 3, and even with that DRS he still can't quite close up to Westy here. Jump back on board with Warren, didn't get a great exit out of turn 2, and I think that's Traw's saving grace then as we head down towards turn 3. Lap 15 of the Australian Grand Prix here in TTL F1. It is Recon who leads, Sean in second, who's yet to stop in this race, Westy in third, Lyronix fourth with Traw in fifth, Warren riding on board with in sixth, Lighty seventh, Bashiro, who's yet to stop, is in eighth place, Mays in ninth, and Henny rounds up the top 10. It's Spike 11th, Regular George in 12th, and Graham is last of the runners there in P13.
Gonna be an interesting note here, I've got to be honest. Westy isn't beyond his teammate at this stage. What does Sean do? Does he let him through, hold Lyronix up, and then try and back them up into T1 Warren? This is going to be a real interesting point. I think Sean will probably come into the pits very soon indeed. But he could still let through Westy.
That was close for Warren there. He pulled out of the slipstream on the left-hand side, clipped the grass, and I was convinced he was going around. Kept it all under control, though, as we now rejoined that battle for second place. You're absolutely right. Is there a chance for team orders? Looks like here, I don't think Sean's going to put up too much of a battle for the Alfa Romeo. Let's see what he does for the Red Bull as we make our way now down towards turn 1. You can see there, Westy takes away the position. Lyronix up the inside, sneaks it through. Meanwhile, Warren gets the move done at last against the Renault there, and he's now up to 5th place. And meanwhile, that battle between Westy and Lyronix will carry on there. And Sean there, well, he made life difficult for the Red Bull, and Lyronix was having none of it. Made the move stick. Great move there from the Red Bull, and it keeps him in contention with that Alfa Romeo for Westy ahead of him. But the problem they have now with 14 laps to go, they are now both 6.8 seconds behind the race leader, who we haven't seen a lot of in this race at all. That's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're leading the race.
Yeah, dominant so far from Recon. He's managed to pit as well. He's got slightly fresher tyres than Westy and Lyronix ahead. That's going to suit him well towards the end of the race. I was just right on board with Warren there. He's just made a bit of a mess up through turns 9 and 10. T1 now right on the back of him, but Warren has just pulled away from him very easily. How on earth has he just pulled 5/10 on him through one corner?
I don't know, actually. It looked like Warren was struggling for grip through the chicane there. I'm not quite sure what happened. Maybe he just took too much speed through
Penalty
the
for
corner.
T-roll, maybe. Might have backed off as a result of that.
Could have done.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Flex.
Well, we'll have to find out. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Sean is into the pits. Now, my thinking is Sean is going for the very aggressive strategy. This is going to be soft tyres onto the Alfa Romeo, isn't it? Soft tyres are going to go on. Those Red Bull soft tyres are waiting in the Alfa Romeo garage. So it is a very aggressive strategy here for Sean as he now pulls away out of the pit lane. That should be the same story for Mashiro, but he stays out for another lap. So he's not confident of getting the soft tyres to the end at this point. So real split strategy across the field here of going hard to mediums, mediums to hards, and maybe even mediums to softs. So really good strategy race going on here, and looks like the best one so far has been the medium to hards, because they're locking up the top 4 places right now.
Yeah, definitely, and another one that has favoured, I think, from softs to hards this time, and he's about to get the move done. Jeffrey on Mays down the inside into turn 3. He's signed, sealed and delivered like Stevie Wonder down the inside. Has he got the car stopped? I think he might have done, but Mays has ran the outside of him. Good driving. Can Jeffrey get around the outside of turn 5? Yes, he can. Brilliant stuff by Jeffrey. Pinpoint accurate. Fantastic move, and he can now close in on Mashiro as well. He's up to 9th.
Yeah, that was a real position there that Henny put Mays in that position. Are we going to have a crash? It's your choice. So Mays really had to back out of that one. Pure Ayrton Senna-esque move there, but it got the job done, and he's up now to 9th place. We did have yellow flags somewhere out in sector 3. Graham has come into the pit since, and I believe this is going to be a front wheel change, and it is for the Scotsman then. Still in the running though, so fair play to him. As Jeffrey Henny's out. He's out of the session now, and that must be... Where's that?
Turn 12.
Turn 12, yeah, so that's onto the curb and out of the race goes Jeffrey Henney after making that move. A really good move on Mays there. Now finds himself out of the race. Yeah, he's gone off big style there. And that is what happens when you light up the rear tyres on that curb at turn 12. It's claimed so many cars. That won't be the last car it claims, that's for sure. Lap 18 of this race then. We have 12 laps to go, 11 and a bit if you're picky. It is Recon who leads from Westy and Lyronics. Warren fourth with Troy, Lighty, Sean, Mays, Spike, Mashiro, Regular George and eventually Graham will take that last spot in 12th place. Of course, remember, we do have the fastest lap of the race rule that only applies if you finish the race and if you finish in the top 10. Right now, that's currently Recon, a 124.5 from the Dutchman. We'll currently give him all maximum points available, 26 points there for Recon as it stands towards the end of this race.
Lyronics and Westy's going to kick off big style through the final corner. Oh, he's just taken a different line there, Lyronics, down the inside. It got caught in the grass as well. It was almost as if he was lining up for the move down the straight. He's not close enough this time. Could be down to turn 3 if he gets a good one out. Just right on board. No, not close enough. You need to be within 2/10 out of turn 3, out of turn 2 to get the run down into turn 3, Lyronics. Not close enough. But Spike is on Maze.
Yeah,
and he's got the move.
He's got the move done as he in towards turn 13 up the inside. They're still side by side then heading through 14 and Spike gets the move done then up to 8th place he goes and gets the move, rounds it off then into turn 15. So that's Spike now up to 8th place. Remember, a plethora of penalties to apply at the end of this race from the in-game stewards as we now wind down last 11 laps of this race as Lyronics still on the back of Westy. Warren then, without that disconnection, would be right amongst this battle and he'd love to be there too, but he has been putting in some quick laps as of late, so it might not be too long before he's on the back of this, especially if the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull battle as hard as they have been through the last couple of laps. Just watch that gap there, currently 3.7. Let's see if it comes down anymore, but Lyronics really putting the Alfa Romeo of Westy under extreme pressure then. Through turn 15 we go, and then onwards towards turn 16. Lyronics needs to keep it together then. Goes up a gear to reduce the wheel spin. That could work, you know. Westy instantly realises the threat. He goes to the right-hand side, right onto the marbles here. Lyronics is going to now try and go round the outside here. Through turn 1, it's just about right there. And the German Lyronics gets the move done and moves up into 2nd place. Wow, what a move!
That was pinpoint accurate. That's probably my phrase tonight. Pinpoint accurate. Lyronics ran the outside, picked the perfect spot, was within 2/10 coming out of the final corner. Job done. Fantastic move around the outside. CPI should be proud of that one. He's up to 2nd, but Westy is on the back of him, and he's not going to go down without a fight.
He's not, absolutely not. Just in the midst of that battling, we have lost Regular George, who's lost it in sectors 1 and 2. I believe it was at turn 5 there. So unfortunately, after his great start, hasn't quite ended the way he wanted it to, and he now finds himself out of the race. That's going to remote Graham up to 11th place, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Only one more retirement ahead of him, and he'll have the last point of the race. But meanwhile, Westy didn't get a great run through 11 and 12 there, really didn't get it right at all, and he's lost a big chunk of time against Lyronics there, but all that battling has meant that Warren's now cut that gap between them to 2.3 seconds. He's now 2.3 behind Westy there, and of course he'll be 3 seconds behind Lyronics. But Lyronics now, the only thing on his mind will be to gallop away from this now.
Yeah, I think he's got the speed over him now. He's waiting in behind. He's now pulled a 2nd on that last lap alone. But a really interesting point to note. I've been watching the gap between Warren and Tiro throughout the course of this race, especially through the 2nd sector, especially through the 2nd stint, I should say. And it's now 2 seconds the gap. Tiro's just picked up another 3-second time penalty. Those hards appear to be working better than the mediums out on track. And I think they're probably around the same tyre wear percentage at the minute, but Warren is beginning to close in on Westy. He's got a lap pressure tyres. He might be on back of these. He might get 2nd by the end of this.
Graham's off at turn just before
15.
turn 16, yeah, so he's now coming back to the pits. It's not been a great day for the Scotsman whatsoever as he makes his way now back to the pits for another front wing change. That looks like the entry of a man who's just had enough for today. He picks up yet another time penalty and retires from the race.
Oh, Westy!
Oh, Westy's out! Westy is out of the race. Huge moment at turn 12. We just saw the end of that. And I'm assuming, James, he's lost it big time on the curb.
Yeah, he's lost it completely on the curb, on the outside. That is just a shame. S. Graham had just retired from the session as well. I was about to come on and say, if somebody crashes out ahead of him, he can still pick up a point. And I feel so fortunate that I didn't say that until just then. But Westy is out, and he's going to be absolutely ruining his luck. He was looking like he was on for third place. Oh, it's so unfortunate for him.
Well,
and that's one of my predictions gone as well.
Well, that is one of your predictions gone, absolutely. However, that's put Warren now up into third place. Now, he has a chance here of equaling his best result in a TTL F1 race. And,
oh, no,
I just say that now I've done it. What's happening tonight? Honestly, what is happening? What are we doing here? Well, Recon's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. That might affect him towards the end of the race. What that's going to do then is relieve some of that pressure Laurodix was feeling by Warren there, as Traw might have a sniff at a podium here. Never rule out the German of Traw. He's always there to pick up the pieces when it goes wrong there. Consistent performer, and he loves to take those points away. Absolutely, as Westy obviously has left the session. I was trying to make drama out of nothing there. But let's have a look at one of the rookies here this season, Mashiro. 9th place for him so far. All he has to do is get that car to the finish, and he's got points on the board, not only for himself, but for Williams as well. He's only 2.4 behind Mays as well. We've already seen how hard he wants to battle in this race. Don't rule him out there for an 8th place finish.
He's on a set of softs as well. This is the prime bit in the race, I think, for the softs to come into play. It's only 1.9 off. You can see every corner he goes through, he's getting more and more confident with those tyres. He's closing in on Mays, and I'll put a prediction down. He'll get him done within 2 laps. There you go.
Well, that's another prediction. Let's see.
Hopefully
what happens
this one goes
here.
right this time.
Well, I mean, let's hope it does, because there is Traw, meanwhile, closing in on the ghost cart of Warren. We haven't seen him rejoin just yet. I wonder if Warren's packed it up and said, you know what, it's just not going to be my day, as Traw then will phase through the racing point to take third place through turn 5, and there we go, up onto the podium he goes. Mashiro then closing in on Mays through the final sector, in towards the penultimate corner of turn 15, and then on towards turn 16. You can see there how much more grip Mashiro has out of the final corner and onto the start-finish straight. He could wait until turn 3. He won't have DRS, but look how much ERS he has then. He's been saving that up like I've been saving up for a new house. Honestly, he's been doing so well at that. Now he's got all the DRS to deploy in the world down towards turn 3. Who needs DRS? Mashiro doesn't, as he gets the move done in towards turn 3. Great stuff from the Japanese driver. Now up to 8th.
And that at last is a prediction that I've actually got right. Mashiro through to 8th position. Fantastic stuff on much fresher tyres. You can see him closing the gap through every corner he went. He can now pull away, and I won't be surprised if he gets onto the back of Spike before the end of this race. 6.2 seconds. If he's going at the pace he is currently and those tyres stay fresh to the end, then you never know. And just an interesting point, I think, to point out about Warren, I don't think he will have any invites to get back into the lobby. Oh, I've just said that and he's joined.
Yeah, that's literally...
oh my god.
One prediction has gone right, James. I just hold on to that one. Quit while you're ahead. Well, lap 24 of this race. As you were saying then, Mashiro, it's 5.5 seconds over 6 laps. It's not impossible, but by the end of this race, those soft tyres might be a little bit worse for wear, no pun intended. Recon leading the way. We're currently on board with Lighty, who's just been having a little bit of a race of his own. I said in qualifying that he just needs to get that control, get his head back into the game, and it looks like he's done just that, because no front wing dramas, no dramas of any kind for the Haas driver. I believe Warren still not back in the car. That's why Lighty is catching him at a rate of knots. You can really see how the ghost car really doesn't like that chicane of 11 and 12. Still not back in that car. At some point he will be. It's agonising when you're trying to join in, and he's left the session again, so he didn't even get to join that time around. He didn't even get to drive the car that time around. Something's telling me that he might just call it a day, but remember, all those points count. Such a horrible way to retire from the race as a disconnection. You never want it to happen. It always happens at the worst possible times. But for Recon, no such thing has happened. Andy and I were saying last season how if Recon had a really decent internet connection, he'd have got a couple of race wins under his belt. Well, tonight, so far, so good for the Dutchman.
Yeah, completely different story for Recon. 6.8 seconds. Warren has joined back. Oh, you said he's left, hasn't he? Yeah, I'm about 30, 40 seconds behind here, so don't blame me.
Sure.
Machine catching Spike though. 4 seconds the gap. We literally came on board and said 6.2 seconds was the gap. Tell you what, it's not over and done with.
Not at all. 7th place could be on the cards then for a debut performance. That's not bad at all. Warren now has joined once again. Let's see if it allows him back into the car. He'll rejoin now. He's in 5th place, being closed in by Sean. And when you're an AI on 17-lap-old hard tyres against a human on 8-lap soft tyres, well, that gap's only going to decrease. There's only one direction that time's going, and that's down. Meanwhile, then, Recon starts lap number 26 here in Australia. We have 4 laps to go here in Australia, and 4 laps for Recon to just keep his head there, keep cool, and try and claim his first race win of the season. Can he do it and try and start the season on the right foot?
I think he can. He's got 6-second buffer really over Lyronics, and that is including the time there. But he's also got 3 seconds worth of penalties, Recon. Lyronics has got 9 seconds worth of penalties, so just to point out that Recon has probably got this.
Well, you say that. Let's see what happens then as we head through the final couple of laps. Let's see if Warren is back in the car. He is back in the car, so he's now there in 5th place. He's going to level that gap out to Sean there. But Sean might have an opportunity to try and close in that gap ever more as Mashiro here, 2.6 now behind Spike through the final corner. Ooh, getting a little bit wayward out of the final corner. They're just got to be careful of that. You can't let complacency get the better of you, especially this late on. He'll be wanting to try and pick up the points there, and Warren's left the session again. It's just not been his night, has it? It's not going to happen, but fair play to him. He keeps trying to rejoin because he knows if he finishes this race, he's got points, but not as the ghost guy.
Yeah, he needs to get back in and get into that car. Just tell everyone to turn off the devices in behind. That might be that might fix the problem. But Mashiro, back on board with him, the Japanese driver, 2.4 seconds. Now, he was only gaining, I think he only gained 0.6 of a second that last lap around. Those tyres are now beginning to wear, and I think Spike has probably just got the advantage over him to probably see it out. But you never know. You never know.
You never know indeed. 2.5 seconds separates.
Lyronics closing in on Recon. 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds, yeah, it is. But is it too little too late as Sean here phases through the racing point, moves up to 5th place? Yeah, that gap is coming down. No sign of any.
He's using his ERS, Recon. He's now using his ERS, that's why the gaps are increasing.
That might explain the half of it, that's for sure.
He's 4/10 up in the middle sector as well, actually, on this lap.
Let's see what happens then as we now make our way through the chicane. Oh, Lyronics onto the curb. Oh, dangerously flirting with that curb there. But yeah, he can't. He's just about got that in check. Well, now down to 8 runners. I think Warren's latest attempt has gone in vain there, and unfortunately that will now class as a retirement as Recon heads towards the line to start lap number 28 as he sets the fastest lap of the race in doing so. 1:23.6 from the Ferrari driver. Looking back at his season last time out, well, Recon started the season with a win last season. His next win didn't come until the 7th round of the season at the Italian Grand Prix. He then went on to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, so the pace is there. He ended last season with 134 points. You know, it's about 50 points, maybe slightly under 50 points away from his rival. So, you know, 2 wins in essence is what that was. And looking at the results, we had a couple of DNSs. I think all of his non-finishes did not start anyway, but we know he's had internet trouble over the past few seasons, so he'll be wanting to get that nailed down. For Lyronics, meanwhile, well, he started off last season. He started his title defence with a DNF at the very first round. Spike then into the pit as he looks to go for the fastest lap of the race. That's going to hand Mashiro 7th place.
Yeah, and May's 8th place as well. So Spikers came into the pits. He could have got to the he could have got to the end in that position, I would have thought. I think he's just ruining himself away from a couple of points there. You never know, that couple of points could be the difference between him possibly.
You know what? That could bite him because he's going to rejoin behind the Ferrari. He's not going to get the chance to set that fastest lap of the race because he'll be on an outlap because Recon's now started the final lap of the race. Spike's now been lapped. That opportunity's gone out of the window. So Recon then looking to start this season just as he did the last with a race win. He's only got one more lap to negotiate then, the Dutchman. A little bit tail happy through 5 there. Through turn 4. Now we're through turn 5 and onwards towards the 6-7 flick there. As we go through that, negotiate it one last time. It has been a dramatic race and Warren trying to join in so that he can finish the race as a human and score points. If not, then everyone behind him is going to be moving up in position. So Mashiro could be finishing in 6th place if Warren isn't in control of his car at the checkered flag when he crosses it. He is in control, so this is a good sign. Well, it's one or the other. We don't know yet. But Recon making his way towards the final couple of corners, towards the final sector. And that red fuel light flashing. He's done enough here in terms of fuel, but what about penalties? We'll have to find out that when we get to the start-finish line. But making his way now towards the final couple of corners through 15 and towards turn 16. It is Recon who will make his way towards the start-finish line to win the Australian Grand Prix and the season opener here in TTL F1. Lyronics here will cross the line in 2nd place to claim a podium there as the Toro Rosso of Spike crashes across the line, realising that he got that wrong with the strategy. Troll then coming around the final corner. Well, Troll here gets the podium and gets his first podium of the season. Last time at round 1 he finished 6th. This time at round 1 he gets a podium. He gets a 5-second stop go penalty. Let's see what that Lighty does then towards the start finish line. He will come across the line to finish in 4th. Sean then coming towards the line. He will take 5th place in the Alfa Romeo as he crosses the line there by 0.04 of a second. That was so close. Oh, Warren getting a little bit tail happy out of the final corner. I think he'll just coast towards the line, which he does. Yeah, and he crosses the line as a human. That means he will score the points. And Mashiro here, debut race, and it's going to be 7th place for the Williams if he can keep it all together through the final corner, which he can. And he will score points on his first appearance here in TTL F1. Great drive from the Japanese driver. And it Mays here will be coming around the final corner to finish in 8th place. Spike then in 9th, a lap down on the race leaders. But your winner for the Australian Grand Prix and the first round of a brand new season, it is the Dutchman, Recon, taking the win. Well, what an absolutely brilliant race. That had a little bit of everything, didn't it? Battling, controversy, drama, turn 12 curbs, spinning cars around. Yep, it had pretty much everything but the safety car. And Recon has come out on top with his first race win of the season. And that is a statement of intent there to the season 15 champion of Jack. With, of course, there the rest of the podium. You see there Lyronics taking 2nd place and Traw taking 3rd place. It's a European podium there, that's for sure, with a Dutchman on the top and 2 Germans side by side. But your unofficial results then for the first round of TTL F1. Recon wins with Lyronics in 2nd, and it is Traw in 3rd place. Lighty in 4th with Sean 5th. Warren, after a great start, disconnects got in the way and he finishes in 6th. Mashiro in 7th place from 14th on the grid. A great debut for the Japanese driver. Mays finishing in 8th and Spike a lap down in 9th place. 3rd race on his brand new wheel. Retirements: Westy, Graham, Regular George, Henny, The Gort, Conti and Yorit all out of the race then. Only 9 finishers in this race, and of course Westy not making the checkered flag. That means he does not score points in the first race of his TTL F1 career. Well, James, that was a bit of a race, wasn't it, we had?
It was, yeah, honestly, we had a bit of everything. Honestly, it was absolutely fantastic. Credit, I've got to say, to Sean and Mashiro especially. Picking their way through the field. Sean more so, I think. Came in, he did a one-stop strategy, finished in, what, 5th? 400th off the lighty at the end. Good job from him. I think he deserves my driver of the day vote, to be honest.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, because the driver of the day vote is driver only. So it is a driver's driver of the day vote. Yeah, I'm sorry, James. That's the way. But hopefully you have enjoyed this race. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Make sure you subscribe to TTTV. Of course, tomorrow night you can join. I believe Malk and Tej will be taking you through TTSL. Is that starting up next tomorrow?
TTSL League 1, yes, that'll be Malk and Tej, but you can also come in and join me for League 2 tomorrow from 7:30. Hopefully I'll have a better voice then.
Well, hopefully. I mean, flu and all that lovely stuff only seems to get worse when you do commentary. So hopefully you're all right, James. But make sure as well.
If I wake up tomorrow in the back of a coffin, then goodness me.
And don't forget as well. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for the new home of competitive or CRC. I believe it is.
Yep.
Who have merged with TTP Cars, so that's the new event on Saturday night. So make sure you subscribe to the channel for that one. You can also subscribe to the league. It's at TTL_F1. You can follow me on Twitter whilst you're there. It's at KS McGinley, and you can follow James whilst you're there at B52Head. Well, James, hopefully that's enough fix for Christmas, because now we're not back until the new year.
I know, we'll be back for TTL F1 2nd of January. You're not going to be here for that in China, so you're handing over the reins to me for a night.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you treat it well. That's it. That's your induction done. It's over to you now. That's it. We're all finished. But yeah, the season 16 calendar is as follows. Next time we meet will be the 2nd of January for the Chinese Grand Prix, 9th of January for the Spanish Grand Prix, 16th of January for the Canadian Grand Prix, 23rd of January for the Austrian Grand Prix, 30th of January for the German Grand Prix, 6th of Feb for the Belgian Grand Prix, 13th of Feb for Singapore, 20th of February, for the Japanese Grand Prix, 27th of February for the US Grand Prix, and the 5th of March for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And the Challenge Cup will take place on the 12th of March. So that's your calendar. Hopefully you can join us for those races, and make sure you are subscribed to our lovely selves and all the lovely Twitter that we mentioned. But James, great race, and unfortunately I can't join you in China, but hopefully I'll be there for Spain.
Yeah, I hope you are there for Spain. China, I'm going to look forward to that. I think we've seen a really good race one here, and we can build on that after the new year. Hopefully, new year, new mindsets, new pace found by everyone, and hopefully everyone is within 0.5 of a second for China. Highly doubt, though.
Well, the only way we'll find out, James, is by waiting and seeing. So hopefully you'll join us next time out. Until then, though, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.